I was only a kid, but I'll never forget the dead look of the land burnt dry by the drought. When the wheat went, everything went. The debts piled up until there was nothing a man could do but slam the door and walk away. Somehow my pa hung on. He had a motto, stick and stay, it's bound to pay. And it did, finally. A few seasons of rain and the earth was rich again. The fields golden with grain, the wheat like a running river. So now when the oil companies came, we took our time making up our minds. A man with a couple of full silos and 50 head of cattle can afford to take his time. Finally, we signed with Citadel. That was last year, and since then, not a word out of them. Maybe they've found out there isn't any oil. Maybe Pa was right.
Over at Bronson's place, they started drilling.
Is that right?
Gracious, a bunch of hoodos.
Come on, I want to go see.
Well, all right, let's go take a look.
Call it iron ore, call it ferric oxide. It is the touchstone that has magically transformed a civilization. In the raw red earth of Hibbing on the Mesabi, the Clinton and Vermilion Ranges, steel has its beginnings. The mother of steel is iron. There is more than a ton of iron and steel in the car you drive. Several kinds of iron and more than 100 kinds of steel. And from the rusting earth come the ores that are the beginnings of all that rich harvest of metals born of iron and sired by the coal that is mated with iron to make steels of many kinds. Soft coal, hard coal, and the coke that comes from coal to bring steel into being. To purify and refine the steels, coal and coke. To harden steel for roller bearings and for starter motor assemblies, fine molybdenum. To toughen steel in precision parts, fine vanadium. To shape and to polish precise mechanical parts, crystalline quartz. For alloy steels, for stainless steel, for plating bumpers and ornamental trim, bright chromium. For the tiny filaments in electric light bulbs, tungsten. For storage batteries, for radiator assemblies, and for the Babbitt metal in engine bearings, pure lead. And even the more famously precious metal, gold. Any metal can be more precious than gold if it is the one metal needed at the time. Each metal may depend on one or more of the others for successful use. Copper and aluminum are precious in themselves. And all these ores for all these many metals call for many men to dig them from the earth and bring them forth. Any natural lack or artificial shortage may stop the entire economic parade. You may be a lumberjack teamed up in Washington.
My darling, can you hide?
Only one slight mishap was reported. A policeman somehow lost his badge.
A council of youth clubs from all parts of the city, developed directly from the contacts made on work projects, the boys themselves decided they wanted a common meeting ground where they could adjust differences between the clubs before they blew up into rumbles. They also wanted to promote social affairs and special projects on a citywide basis. Both prestige and security were involved in belonging to the organization.
One of the first council projects developed in support of the National Youth March for Integrated Schools held in Washington, D.C. in April 1959. The boys in Youth for Service know that integration is not just the struggle of American Negroes for equality, but it's linked with the fight against discrimination of all newly arrived minority groups. 100 years ago, the Irish made up less than 1/3 of the population of New York, but they were charged with over 2/3 of the arrests. There were newcomers then. Today, the Puerto Ricans, the Mexicans, the Pacific and Oriental peoples are the newcomers. The Youth for Service Council raised the money to send a delegate to Washington, the only one sent by a San Francisco youth organization, and he carried petitions gathered by many other groups as well, with over 6,000 signatures. And still in America, some people are treated like newcomers in their own native country. We call them Indians. This is the Laytonville Rancheria of the Pomo Indian tribe in the Redwood Forests, 100 miles north of San Francisco. One of the largest youth for service.
from which all road maps of that district are made. This particular symbol, for instance, shows that certain roads are under construction but that detours are provided. This symbol will be drawn over every road that fits this classification at the time the map goes to press. But wait a minute. How does the draftsman know all this? It's a cinch he can't walk every mile of every road in the United States. Well, somebody has to. Who is this fellow with the 7-league boots? This work is done by field men, road scouts who each year travel the equivalent of many round trips to the moon. As a rule, these map detectives work in pairs, one man driving the car as the other plots road changes on his special chart book. Notations are carefully checked against special instruments to ensure complete accuracy. Drawing a straight line in a moving automobile on a bumpy road is one job that calls for a steady hand and a car that smoothly cooperates. These road changes, when carefully drawn to scale in the graph books, are now ready for the big leagues, the master detour maps in the drafting rooms. Here is another type of symbol often found on up-to-date detour maps. This one indicates road under construction, but open to traffic. In other words, drive with care. Automobile club scouts like these also run down valuable road clues. These men often do two jobs at once. Besides gathering data for the latest detour maps, they also check new findings against old United States Geological Survey topographical sheets. On these, they not only indicate the topography of the land, drawing in all mountains, canyons, and rivers, but they also check official mileage figures from point to point, comparing them with those already listed on the survey sheets. Since many of these were drawn up from surveys made over 30 years ago, some roads are found to be longer or shorter than their birth certificate shows. Being a road scout is no soft snap. Driving around Death Valley in the summer isn't found in the pink tea section of the book. But it's all in a day's work as far as these boys are concerned. Years spent in the wide open spaces have toughened them to take the worst old man weather offers. Just put on your sun goggles and take a peep at that thermometer. It's only 115 degrees in the shade. What shade? Draw two, Jake, for the boys in the back oasis. Lucky thing their camel doesn't need a drink, though, because the water supply looks pretty slim. One of the many things these auto club scouts keep tab on is the rise and fall of elevation at certain points. Since the Earth's surface is constantly changing, like the crust of a baking pie, they often discover that what was low down on earlier surveys is now on the up and up. Elevations are recorded with an...
Staged annually by Detroit and Windsor. Crowds of over 500,000 gather on the USA and Canadian banks of the Detroit River to celebrate with a roar the idea of freedom. Like a stout heart within the city is Detroit industry, the vital pulse beat of technology and resources which has put the world on wheels. Detroit's strategic location, its reservoir of know-how, its ability to deliver manpower, places it in the vanguard of choice spots in which to build, manufacture, and expand. Industry, backed by research in depth, proves Detroit is ever seeking the new way, the better way. Detroit shares, indeed leads in each forward stride today, as it builds for an even more prosperous tomorrow.
Betty is worried for Bob, but after all, he is trying. Everyone learns by experience, even when mistakes are made, and one isn't at all sure of anything that he is doing. Bob wonders if the portions he is serving are now too small. Should he give a large portion to the men and small ones to the ladies? Or should he serve about this amount and let the guests return their plates if they wish a second helping? Now Betty is about to serve the salad.
Some new questions are arising. Can she use the implements for serving the salad correctly? And what size should the portions of salad be? Is she offering too little? Is she getting a proper assortment? As Betty passes the plate, should she say for whom the plate is intended? Bernie and Helen act as though everything were going smoothly with them. And so really it is. In spite of Betty's worries, there are no mishaps. Floyd and Dorothy are enjoying themselves. Bob, you notice, is not starting first this time. He waits with the others for Betty to start. Here is the kind of fun that they all thought of when the party was planned, of having a good meal together and plainly enjoying one another's company. The errors that have been made haven't taken the fun out of the party, and we must remember to give them credit for all the things that have been done correctly. For every mistake made, a dozen things have been done correctly. Bob is feeling more confident of himself. He seems to remember that it is correct to use his knife for cutting lettuce or tomato if they are served in pieces that are too big for a proper bite. What do you think? Is he wrong or is he right? But the person with confidence isn't necessarily the person who is correct. Up until this minute, Betty has been confident that a person should butter his vegetables with his knife. But now that Betty sees Floyd buttering his with his fork, she isn't certain. She wishes she did know definitely. It seems safer to follow Floyd's example. If he is correct, then she will be too. Bob is swinging from one extreme to another. One minute he is uneasy, the next overconfident. Now he is forgetting even his company manners and is acting as he usually does, in telling one of his favorite stories. Dorothy and Floyd give him their attention when he's looking at them, but at the same time they manage to continue eating while their food is warm. Bob isn't letting the story interfere with his eating either. So let's try counting the number of obvious blunders. The waving of his knife and fork about. Talking with food in his mouth. Monopolizing the conversation. But it is an exciting story. It's about a trip up in the mountains, and then, uh-oh. This isn't the kind of an ending to the story that Bob had in mind.
Now, what do you suppose these boys are doing driving this car? They aren't old enough to drive. Still, they seem to be doing a good job of it, don't they?
And where do you boys think you're going?
Hi, Dad. Oh, we're just practicing our driving.
Practicing your driving? Now, you're not trying to tell me you know how to drive a car, are you?
Sure, Dad. Just watch this. First, you put this lever in neutral, then you turn on the key, then you step in the starter to get the engine going. Then you put in the clutch, put it in gear, and step in the gas. How's that?
Well, that's pretty good as far as it goes. That's just the mechanical part of it. There's a lot more to driving than just making the car go. There are many other things that you have to know before you can drive a car. Important things like traffic rules and regulations.
Oh, we know how important the traffic rules are. Our coach has been teaching us. We have a regular class every week where we study the traffic rules and lots of other things about our bikes. We call it learning to drive our bikes. Coach says we have to follow all the same traffic regulations as the cars, so that if we learn all the regulations by driving our bikes, we'll be ready to drive a car when we're old enough.
Well, just exactly what do you mean, drive your bike?
Well, when we ride our bikes in the street, we're just as much a part of traffic as the cars. And if we do dangerous things, we could cause an accident, which might hurt other people as well as ourselves. That's why Coach says we should always drive our bikes like we would drive a car, and never do anything we wouldn't do if we were driving a real car. So you see, if we think about driving our bikes and always doing the safe thing, we're not as likely to get into trouble.
I see. Well, that sounds like a very good idea. I suppose you know everything about traffic regulations.
Well, maybe not everything, but we are learning a lot by driving our bikes.
All right. Let's see what you've learned. I suppose you know the hand signals for stopping and turning.
Sure. That's the first thing we learned. Left turn, right turn, stop. Yeah, and you're always supposed to give the signal quite a ways before you turn or stop.
That's right. What else have you learned?
Well, we have to obey all the stop signs and traffic lights. Coach says if we're going to share the streets, we must also share the responsibilities.
Responsibilities?
Right away, a big bite of toast. And there was some bacon, so he stuffed in part of that. And then, just one big splash of milk. And Bill was off to school. Well, he caught up with his family, and he beat them through breakfast. But he ate so fast. And do you think he ate enough? At lunchtime, Bill had some fine sandwiches. He also had money to buy soup. But he didn't want to stand in line for soup. He was in a hurry to go out and play. So, how did Bill eat his lunch? Watch. After school, of course, Bill was hungry. He was hungry and he had some money. So, but did Bill leave his pop and candy only half eaten? No, sir. He emptied that pop bottle as fast as he could. He gobbled down all his candy. And as if that wasn't enough, he ate some cookies, too. Then Bill didn't feel hungry anymore. No, sir. For once, he had eaten too much. At supper time, Bill still felt full. So he didn't hurry with his supper. He just poked at it. He was tired. And he just didn't have any appetite. Bill didn't know it, but he was already...
Dishes 3 times a day. And breathes there a housewife with soul so dead who sometimes to herself has not said,
"Why can't something be done to relieve the monotony of this everyday kitchen chore?"
Yes, this laborious task of washing dishes is with us, that is the housewife, all the time. But it is something that presents to you, the salesman, one of the greatest sales opportunities ever to come to the appliance field. Why? Let's reflect a moment. About the vacuum cleaner, for instance. Does the housewife have to be sold on the advantages of this appliance? She knows that the vacuum cleaner does a better cleaning job on her rugs and furniture than she could do by hand. She knows it's the modern way to keep her house hygienically clean. And mechanical refrigeration. Does the housewife have to be sold on the benefits of using a mechanical refrigerator? She knows that this kitchen appliance automatically keeps her foods below 50 degrees. She knows this is the modern way to preserve foods better than ever before. Or the automatic range. Does the housewife have to be sold on what this appliance means to her in freedom from the kitchen? She knows that once she sets the controls, the range automatically does the rest. She knows this is the modern way to cook. The home laundry. Does the housewife have to be sold on what this appliance means to her on wash day? She knows the confining hours around the wash tub are a thing of the past. She knows this is the modern way to take care of wash day. All these things are accepted today by the American housewife because of you, the salesman. Yes, you, the salesman, are responsible for these contributions to gracious living because you have made the housewife realize that the vacuum cleaner cleans better, the refrigerator keeps food safer, the automatic range gives her more freedom from the kitchen, and the home laundry does away with the drudgery of wash day. You have made her conscious of a better way of living. But still, there are the dishes Dishes, dishes, 3 times a day, 7 days a week, month after month after month. And where is the housewife who has not said to herself,
why can't something be done to modernize this monotonous everyday task?
And because every housewife has always liked the idea of a really practical and efficient dishwasher, something was done about it. Yes, the Mullins Manufacturing Corporation, world's largest maker of modern steel kitchens, did something about it in offering to the housewife the latest and greatest contribution to a better way of living in the American home. The new Youngstown Kitchens automatic dishwasher. And what does this mean to you? It means a new chance for you to cash in on the latest and greatest sales opportunity ever to hit the appliance field. A great sales opportunity because Mullins waited to get into this field until it developed a superior product. A product that embodies the first constructive idea in dishwashing. An idea that completely modernizes dishwashing. Just as the vacuum cleaner, refrigerator, automatic range, and the home laundry modernized other household work, so does this new Youngstown.
Close the top and turn the switch. The dishwasher does the rest. The water, as it's recirculated through the dishwasher, is strained through a fine screen filter to keep the wash water clean all the time. Of course, there are the pots and pans. Whether you do them while you're eating or later depends on your own preference, but the dishwasher washes them sparkling clean. Some pots and pans or oven dishes, such as those containing foods oven baked for a long time, may require preliminary attention, like scouring by hand. But if you put them in the dishwasher just as they are and let them wash while you're enjoying your meal, you will be surprised at what the dishwasher will do. Any food particles that remain on such pans after the dishwasher does its job are easily removed. Easily removed for cleaning, too, are the jet tower and screen filters. These may be taken out without removing the racks to keep your dishwasher hygienically clean. Yes, the new Youngstown Kitchens automatic dishwasher takes over the most disagreeable labor of this daily household chore. It washes dishes and pots and pans faster, cleaner, and better than you can do by hand. It's proof to me that it really modernizes dishwashing.
Proof. Proof that the Youngstown Kitchens automatic dishwasher can do dishes faster, cleaner, better than any other way. Proof to every housewife that this new dishwasher really modernizes dishwashing. Prove it. That's exactly what we're going to do. Prove it. Everyone agrees that the idea of an automatic dishwasher is good, and most everyone agrees that there are good conventional dishwashers obtainable. But we are going to prove the superiority of the principle of the Youngstown Kitchens automatic dishwasher in a performance demonstration that will bring out its speed and efficient washing characteristics under the most severe conditions. Here's how we're going to do it. This mixture you see being prepared is mustard and egg. A mixture home economists have thoroughly tested and found to be more adhesive and harder to remove from dishes, glassware, and silverware than any other food soil. This is the mixture to be used in this performance demonstration. Every dish, every glass, every piece of silverware is coated with it, inside and out. No corner of any dish is overlooked. More than that, this mixture will be